Hello, and welcome to the Paid Off Project, where I am trying out different side hustles to try to pay down the remainder of my student loan debt. So far, what I've tried and I'm continuing to try is reselling on eBay and Poshmark. It's part time for me. My full time job is intense, so the things I'm considering for part time side hustles have to be not very time consuming and a little bit of fun for me. So far, reselling has been that. So this is my report from month two, focused on everything that sold, as well as some high level overview of how much I made on both eBay and Poshmark. I think the value in this is if you're reselling to get a sense of what's selling for how much and see some themes. This covered the month of June, which is kind of in that summer slow period for reselling. So it's interesting to see, particularly in a slower period, what's selling. So without further ado, let's get into it. And if you're just listening, there are some very basic slideshow on YouTube. I'm new to this, but I'm trying to add some visuals, but you can listen along just as well. They're very uncomplicated visuals. So my eBay totals. Sold two items for gross sales, so total, $48. My estimated net profit, this is not fully accounting, this is rough, $36.90, but it's a good estimate. So that puts me at an average per sale profit of about $18.45. I'm starting, as I get some more sales, to pay more attention to that average per sale profit, because really that number tells you how much you need to sell to make a certain dollar amount, right? If you want to make $5,000 in your side hustle, you divide by the average per sale profit, and that gives you about how many items you need to sell, assuming they're all in that general ballpark. I'm new, so I think the longer you sell, the better of an idea you have of what your average per sale profit is. Or you can think about like $18 is relatively low. Do I want to try to increase that number and sell less, or am I fine having a volume business? I am personally do not have the space for a volume business, so we'll have to probably get that number up a little bit. Okay, so going into what actually sold on eBay. The first item that sold were these two Native American mini, like teeny tiny pots signed D Chino. I believe they're Acoma, or then that's based off of looking up. They're signed on the bottom by the artist, looking up that artist, and there's other pottery works signed by D Chino that are noted to be from the Acoma Pueblo. But because I wasn't 100% sure, I did put a little question mark after Acoma Pueblo because I don't want to be deceptive. I think they were also marked on the bottom New Mexico, so I knew they were produced or made in New Mexico. They're very cool, very cute. These I sourced from my parents, who gave me a few different Native American pieces. The one that's probably the most valuable is a vintage piece, but I'm keeping that for now because I like it with my decor. These are also very cute. They're a little more modern, yellow and black design, but sold two of those. There was a little bit of negotiating on that. It's not a huge profit, but I was happy to see those go to someone that wanted them. The second thing that sold on eBay were these Chaco hiking sandals. They're great sandals, but they have a toe strap. They were my personal sandals, and I hated the toe strap, and so I just wasn't wearing them. I like this kind of sandal, not for around town, but for being in the outdoors and getting in and out with the toe strap just wasn't working for me. So kind of on a whim, put them up, and they sold. So $21 for these Chaco ZX2 Cloud women's hiking sandals, size 7. Yeah, that that worked for me. As you're probably sensing a theme, I'm also happy that someone will get some use out of them. Now, those are my two items. Not a lot going on eBay, but we're moving on to Poshmark. So 9 items sold on Poshmark. Gross sales $207. Estimated profit $157.10. Average per sale profit $17.45. I actually thought it would be a lot lower than the eBay average per sale profit. That one was about $18 as a reminder. It wasn't, I think, in large part because I had one high priced item sell. The fact that more is selling on Poshmark, I think, is indicative of the fact that people are buying clothes year round, whereas eBay, if you're buying antiques as gifts, I think you really see an uptick in the holiday season. I know people buy clothes on there too, but Poshmark is almost exclusively clothes. People, they do have a home goods section, but it's not as developed as eBay for items that aren't clothing. All right, as I may have mentioned, I'm still getting the hang of this, and I just record straight through. So, first item sold on Poshmark was this red and white striped one-piece bathing suit. Mara Hoffman, super cute, barely worn, $45 it sold for. On the 4th of July, I was almost regretting selling it, but $45 pretty good. The next thing that sold, and this I believe was my highest price sale from the month that we're going over, but it was a Calvin Klein hot pink tote purse with chain trimmed handles. I don't think it's ever been used. It just had like super small, I think it was black marks on the bottom just from storage. Had the bag in great condition. I was gonna keep this personally, but I just don't get dressed up enough, and so I figured I'd put it out and see what happened. And someone got a pretty sweet Calvin Klein purse. Next item, again, we're still working through a number of things that are my own collection. These were Viore hiking pants that I had actually bought secondhand, but in excellent condition. Have worn, I wore them for indoor climbing and some hiking, but I just didn't love them anymore, and so figured I would put them up and personally wear the things I like more. That's more backstory than you need. These sold for 25 bucks. I think it's a win-win. Viore is expensive AF. It's a good brand. These are ripstop material, so they really are a great quality hiking pant with a lot of life left in them. So happy trails to whoever bought those. Next item, this one looks funny. It's a bikini bottom, not underwear. It's just the way the photo looks. But a Boys and Arrows bikini bottom, 15 bucks. Great. Boys and Arrows is they make really cute but tiny bathing suits. They're out of business, but a lot of people, myself included, loved that brand, so they'll buy secondhand. I think a theme we're seeing here too is seasonal clothing, right? The things that are selling, hiking, more people hike in summer, bathing suits, obviously, summer is the season. And so that's why clothes are still selling. The sandals, and then here, this Patagonia trucker hat. This was the last of the 4 Patagonia hats that I bought as a lot. My first ever reselling purchase. I bought 4 hats for 20 bucks, including shipping. I forget, but I think I made like, I don't know, between $2 and $5 per hat, like profit. So did not make a lot of money off of that purchase, but it was a great learning experience, and they sold relatively quickly. I think that was April, May, June, all 4 sold, but I priced them pretty aggressively to sell. So $10 for a classic Patagonia trucker hat in good condition. All right, these last 2 items, I made a mistake, and I shipped them to the wrong people. So they ended up being refunded, but for the sake of seeing what's been selling, I'm including them. This was a pair of Everlane straight leg jeans. Straight leg not as hot as it was, but still a classic cut. Sold them for 10 bucks. Was honestly just happy someone wanted them. They were hand-me-down that didn't end up fitting me. I tried to give to other people, didn't work out. And now they are lost with the USPS somewhere. So what happened was I flip-flopped the the shipping labels, and so I sent a bikini to the person that ordered these jeans, and I sent these jeans to a person that ordered a bikini. Person that ordered the bikini said they never got the jeans. They never picked up on tracking, so I think USPS literally lost them. So again, I don't get to keep the dollars from these sales, but thought it was useful to see what was selling. And then the last one is the bikini in question. Oh, a boys and arrows, cute black and white striped bikini. This did get returned because the person that got the jeans, when they went through their refund, Poshmark gave them a shipping label to send back. So I'm relisting this. Unfortunately, as I record this, we're getting into, we'll call it mid, but mid to late summer. So I'm not sure if it'll sell. This was an item that I purchased for myself originally, a little too small. So I'm trying to resell. Right now it's up on eBay and Poshmark. So we'll see in my next report if it makes the sales or not. I priced it a little higher when I relisted it. The 40 I think was a negotiated price, but it ranges. Sometimes you see these tops and bottoms for $100 each, but I don't have tons of space, and so I'm focused on just moving inventory. So we shall see. But that was a summary of everything that sold in month 2. So again, we had 2 items on eBay, 9 on Poshmark. I think the themes are selling seasonally, making sure your seasonal stuff is up. So now is probably a good time to start getting ready for fall and winter. Also because those are busier seasons on eBay and Poshmark. Well, I know eBay, I assume Poshmark too. So you're probably going to be shipping more stuff out if you're a fellow reseller. And so doing those listings now will feel like an exercise in futility when sales are slow, but you will thank yourself in fall. So, little wrap up on where we're at with reselling is, if you have watched any videos, I'm not making a ton of money. I'm having fun. I'm learning things. I'm finding I'm more interested in art and pottery and that type of thing than clothing. But clothing sells, man. So I don't know. It's not huge profits a lot of times, but definitely there's demand for good brands that are being resold in clothing. But since this is to hopefully make a little money and have some fun, as I'm purchasing, I'll probably focus on art and that type of thing. And there will be some learning there because a lot of my art's still sitting, but it's priced somewhat aggressively. So this was a little rambly today, but we roll with it. I will eventually learn how to edit. And in the meantime, or until next time, bye.